Hi guys, welcome to episode 5 of my Understanding Mental Health. This is to raise awareness, and today is about phobias. Now, the term phobia means having an irrational fear that doesn't go away, either if it's of a person, a thing, or a situation. So it is a type of anxiety disorder, and I will tie into anxiety a little bit further on, and you'll see that as I continue. There are three different types of phobia: agoraphobia, social phobia, and also specific phobia. Now, so specific phobia can be um, about one specific thing. This phobia is easier to cope with than others as the intensity reduces as the person gets older. So, um, it can cause fear to people even when it's not present. Um, and examples of this could be like snakes, spiders, having natural experiences like heights, water, darkness, all this stuff is specific phobias. Um, Complex phobia, now this ties into the social phobia. Um, the social phobia is the most common out of all phobias. It's the most destructive. Social phobia can also be known as social anxiety, so that's how it ties in to anxiety. This is when a person's anxious about being in contact with other people, whether it's in a large group or a small group. Um, it's They may be worried about being criticised or saying something embarrassing that'll make people not like them, and that's what a social phobia is. Um, it makes people feel sick and speechless, which means that if you're too scared, sometimes you don't speak because you're worried about what you'll say. Um, so it makes going to restaurants, shopping, or even meeting friends seem like an impossible task. Um, it could also be like walking down the street if it's really busy. Having so many people about might be too much for somebody. Having to be queuing for a long time, again, that'll be because there's too much people. Going to restaurants, even public speaking, uh, not being able to talk out loud to people, a large group of people, is known as stage fright, and that's a particular part of social anxiety. The other phobia is agoraphobia. Um, so this is the fear of being in certain situations where you cannot escape. So the person may not leave the house, use buses or trains, or even go to the shopping centre because they might fear that they can't escape from the situation and won't be able to get out. Um, so this could be from trauma, or it could be a genetic inheritance, which means it's been passed on through the genes, um, and that's how it can affect somebody. It's most likely to affect women. Women have it more than men, and usually developed from ages 18 to 35. However, it could carry on from 35 onwards. It could affect somebody for the whole life, which means they don't want to leave the house or just do anything because they're too scared. Um, so that's what agoraphobia is. Um, there's so many different causes. It usually stems from a person's childhood, following either a stressful event or a horrible situation that they've been in. For example, if a child is locked or trapped in a room, they may, in future, get claustrophobia, which is the fear of being trapped. So it can have a massive impact on you if it happened to you when you were a child. Another example is the fear of flying. This could be because, say, your first flight, there was quite a lot of turbulence, and that'll give you the fear of flying because you just feel like that's going to happen every single time, and it just does not sit right with you. Um, so you can also learn it off family members. So say one of your parents, like your mum, is very anxious about stuff. about certain things, then that can also have an impact on the child as they grow older. They may also become very scared of the same thing. Again, pass down the genes that can be passed down. Um, Life experiences, like I said, about the being trapped or fear of flying, having it can tie into social phobias, which could be caused by previous intense experiences. So, say you went out for a meal and you had a really bad stomach ache and you had to go to the toilet quite a lot. That could have an impact on you as you go out again to go to a restaurant, and that's why some people are too scared to go. Um, so people with phobias genuinely feel fear. They fear. They fear the situation. Um, it can affect their normal day activities. It can affect them physically. The sweating, dry mouth, trembling, too scared to move. May feel sick, needing to rush to the toilet. Could affect their breathing, shortness of breath, choking sensations, confused, disorientated. They may feel dread, scared of losing control, which could help cause severe anxiety because you're losing all the control that you have. Fear that they may die. Some cases are very severe that if they get in touch with if they get in touch with the thing that they fear, they may actually die of shock, basically. Fear of fainting or having a full blown panic attack, because panic attack does fit in with anxiety as well, which I'll be discussing in a few weeks' time. So they won't be able to live a normal life because it's not being able to go shopping and ordering online, not being able to communicate with people just because you can't deal with the pressures inside, not wanting to go out, as they say, they may have panic attacks, which makes them lose confidence because they're not having the communication, the socialisation of socialising, not socialisation, of talking to people, and that'll make them lose confidence and not be able to talk to people. How it affects others, there's many ways it could affect people. It could be disruption to their lives. Trying to explain absence. So this is like if a person is going to a party and they feel too anxious to go or too scared to go because they've got the phobia of a certain situation, that they may have a panic attack. Their families may have to explain why the person's absent, and that can cause them to feel quite annoyed. They may not understand the phobia, and this way they'll get angry and frustrated because they seem to think the person's not making an effort when they can't make effort because they're too scared. So I have got a few different types of like self-help treatments and resources for people if you are having problems with phobias. So talking to other people about your fear, this could help you establish what your fear is and how to overcome it. They may be able to help and be able to give their opinion on things. Using different breathing and relaxation exercises could help also. This is just like being able to stay calm. This is more like for the symptoms of phobias like anxiety and everything like that. This is how to deal with all that so you don't have a panic attack. So breathing and relaxation techniques, whether that's going to a class and learning about it or even looking online. There's quite a lot of different videos on YouTube or even on the internet that could help with the breathing side of things. So controlling the fear at the rate that you want, like graded exposure. So becoming in the room. So say you're scared of a spider, like genuinely really scared of spiders. You put a spider there for 10 seconds. you'll be so obviously scared, but the next time you can put it out for 20 seconds and you keep on increasing the time so that you become comfortable with it being in your vicinity, and this could help overcome different phobias. Going to self-help groups, listening to other people, let them talk about their problems and how you can put that into your kind of own situation. Support forums. If you can't get out of the house, you're too scared, go online, talk to people. They'll be able to help. They'll be able to give their opinions. If they've been through it, then they'll be able to help you get through it yourself. Treatments. There's lots of different treatments. I'm going to name a few. Clinical hypnotherapy. This is relaxed state and see how you can overcome the, the different phobias that you've got. Going to counselling, talking about your feelings. CBT, cognitive behaviour therapy. This is changing the negatives into a more positive spin on it, and this way you'll be able to tell the more positives about it than rather than the negatives. Changing lifestyle habits, even exercising more, getting enough sleep. It does help. It helps deal with things a little bit better than when you're very, very tired or you're not exercising that much. Self, like I said, self-exposure therapy. So this is exposing the fear over a period of time, so they feel less anxious as time goes on. Medication. There is medication that can deal with more of the anxiety side of things. Antidepressants, tranquilizers, and beta blockers. They can help with the kind of anxiety side. Resources. There's different resources within the community. Going to your GP, they can refer you to the community mental health team, who can introduce counsellors, social workers, psychologists, psychiatrists and therapists. Going to one-on-one consultations can help. When I was reading through this, I thought it was really, really good for people who are struggling with phobias. Not many people are struggling with phobias, however, it is happening quite a lot now, and this is ways to overcome it or ways to deal with it a bit better. So, and not making yourself ill, trying to beat it or trying to avoid it, because it won't work like that. So get the help if you do have any phobias or anything like that. So I just wanted to finish up this episode on the first week. The first episode, I wrote down a schedule of what I wanted to do. However, things have changed. So quite a lot of things are in different places now. I'm quite happy with this order. So next week will be a bipolar disorder. I'll be talking about lots of different causes, symptoms, ways to deal with it, ways to overcome it, ways to how to the treatments and resources for bipolar disorder. So that will be next week. The week after will be schizophrenia. Again, that's just the exact same, like dealing with the causes, the symptoms, how to overcome it and everything. Then we'll move on to eating disorders, and then after that I have somebody coming on the show for anxiety. She'll be talking about her, how she deals with anxiety and how she's dealing with it on a day-to-day basis, and try and help people see how other people with anxiety live with that. The next week, hopefully, another one of my friends is coming on to talk about male postnatal depression, and how he's been dealing with that, because it's not talked about enough. Most people think it's just women that deal with postnatal depression, and he's going to give his side about male postnatal depression. I think it'll be really, really interesting to see what he has to say about that and how he dealt with everything. And then after that, we'll be moving on to ADHD, and then OCD, and then post traumatic stress disorder. And then week 13 will be dementia, which is obviously, I wanted to finish on two topics that are really, really close to me. Dementia is one of them, and I wanted to talk about that in greater detail. And I kind of wanted to take my time with that, so I don't want to rush it, so that's why I put it near last. And then the last one will be depression. Depression obviously kind of kicks in with my story and everything like that. So I wanted to finish up on that because I feel like that'll be the best topic to talk about, and I feel like I've got quite a lot to say about that. And then after that, we've got our different guests on each week. I have 3 people confirmed to come on to my YouTube channel and talk about their mental health and how they are dealing with it in greater detail. It'll be in great detail. I'm going to try and hopefully make it a bonus episode, so like double the time or whatever, so that people can understand how people live with their mental health. So yeah, that's kind of what's coming up. I wanted to finish that. I wanted to finish this episode with that stuff because that's just recently happened, and people will be expecting anxiety next week, which isn't happening next week. It will be episode 8. So not long. I'm filming episodes once every week and posting it on the Thursday. So I will try and get it sooner rather than later, and I'll post these videos if I get them and I like them before, then I'll post it probably before Thursdays. But Thursdays is definitely the day that I'll be posting, or the latest I'll be posting. So thank you very much for tuning in. Episode 6 next week. Episode 5, sorry, next week. No, episode 6, sorry. Bipolar disorder. And it'll be a really interesting topic. And I hope that I've helped many people. And hopefully you can learn something about bipolar next week. So thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.